There's such a great history now with this organization, with so many people brought in every year, and it's been tradition to bring meteorologists, broadcast meteorologists, into the fold. Harvey Leonard, Bruce Schwegler. But there's a clause: they have to guarantee, if they're in, a perfect weather day. So who better than Barry Burbank to not only guarantee that, but to be the man who people have been watching for years? Please watch the screens. Barry, come forward and get ready. You're already ready. Never mind. Please watch the screen. Barry Burbank.
For the second time today, I get to introduce our new man at the weatherboards, Barry Burbank from Portland, Maine, a meteorologist. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jerry.
Cold weather you're familiar with.
Eyewitness News continues with Barry Burbank and New England's weather. Barry Burbank. Barry Burbank.
This is Barry Burbank.
It's my real name. I never did change it. I've had it since 1925.
We're breaking the mold with aggressive weather reporting like you've never seen. A lot can change weather-wise overnight, so wake up to a fresh forecast and a live look at what's happening in your town with First Alert Doppler.
You can take a look at the cloud cover across much of the nation. This is what we call an enhanced infrared picture, which basically shows us the cloud cover. And we also know it's quite windy in the studio. It's going to be clear, it's going to be very pleasant, and temperatures will be in the range of about 60 degrees.
It's a good morning for a cup of coffee. Let's share together. He doesn't drink coffee.
I had it the wrong way.
I keep forgetting you're not a coffee guy.
I just don't know how to hold a cup. We've got some problems here. So so many nice people. It's just I wished I'd kept a record and then their names and written all their names down over the 40 years. I would probably have a scroll that would go out down the front hallway and out the door and down Soldiers Field Road for about 2 miles for the number of people that I've worked with. So I can't believe I'm still here. What am I still doing here?
And that is the Barry Burbank we all know and love, those of us who know him very well working with him. And it's a pleasure to introduce the presenter. He's Terry Eliason, meteorologist and the executive weather producer for WBZ TV. Terry?
Just as an aside, so I've watched Barry do thousands of forecasts from behind the scenes over the years and seen many a floor director and producer tear their hair out as he's blown through their minutes remaining sign. So I wish you good luck. Whatever they're paying you, it's not enough today. So when Barry asked me to say a few words today, I was flattered and honored. I've worked alongside Barry for nearly 20 years at WBZ. Barry's love for weather and his legacy at WBZ is an amazing story. A thing of legend, really, tracing all the way back to his youth. He was fascinated by the weather at a very young age and was able to come into the studio and visit his mentor at the time, Don Kent. He was so taken aback by what he saw, he immediately went home and created a scale model of the entire WBZ set in his bedroom. Complete with a sliding weather wall, he would practice the weather every day in his home, as if he somehow knew that one day it would be his destiny. Well, after becoming the first on-air meteorologist in the state of Maine, it didn't take him long to fulfill his dream and get hired at WBZ back in 1978. And now, more than 40 years later, he's been on the air at WBZ longer than anyone else in its storied history. He's been a meteorologist at one... It's worthy of applause. He's been a meteorologist at just one station for longer than anyone else in the Boston market. And to this day, he remains at the top of his game. But perhaps more impressive than all the years of service and thousands of terrific forecasts, he stayed the same person this whole time. Humble, hardworking, honest, hilarious, and loved by all that are lucky enough to know him. Barry likes to call himself the ultimate DH, designated hitter, working every shift that was ever created at WBZ over the years. He's worked mornings, evenings, noons, weekends, and everything in between. He's even spent numerous nights sleeping in the back of his car in the parking lot, doing a quick turnaround shift from night until morning. And you can count on one hand how many times he's called in sick in the more than 40 years at WBZ, going so far as to crawl into work on his hands and knees from his car through the parking lot into work because of his back pain. If Barry is a DH, he's truly the David Ortiz of meteorologists. He is and always has been the MVP of our team. So lots of folks say there'll never be another Barry Burbank. I'd agree. I say there never was another Barry Burbank. He's truly one of a kind in so many ways. I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this induction and this award. Over the years, Barry has meant many things to me. Not only has he been a mentor, but he's shown me how to be a good husband, a good father, and I'm truly blessed to call him a great friend. Barry, congratulations.
Well, Terry, that is a very hard act to follow. But I really don't have too much to say. He really has said it all. All the things I had in my notes, Terry, have already been said, so you've given me a very easy job today. But I do have a few other things that I will touch on. First of all, thank you, everybody, for that warm welcome, and happy Friday. Have a great weekend. I hear it's supposed to be sunny. Is that right, Eric? Terry? A little bit. Okay. But anyway, thank you, Terry. Terry is the keeper of our weather center. He's been behind the scenes for more than 15 years, keeping us running ship-shape all the time. And you wouldn't believe the amount of work that he does. It is just astonishing what he does to make our weathercasts seem seamless and without error every single day. Now, the forecast might not always work out great, but at least the delivery was awesome. The graphics were fantastic. And so I thank Terry for doing that and keeping all the information going for us. So, again, thank you for that introduction. To all my fellow inductees today, congratulations. I am honored to be on this same stage with you and to enter the Hall of Fame with the other 160 distinguished members. We've got some great people in this state of Massachusetts who've done great work for many, many years. I also want to thank those that nominated me, including one of my mentors, veteran Boston meteorologist Bob Copeland. And many thanks go out to the Board of Directors and Peter Brown. So as I go along here, I want to acknowledge and thank a few of the many people that gave advice and guided me on this career path. And one such person is a great WBZ news director, Peter Brown. We can rescind this award. But I just had to do it. You used to wear it on your right ear, right? Peter is one of the hardest working news directors, and he always ran around the newsroom with a pencil on his ear. So this is respecting you, Peter. I'll never forget it. But anyway, Peter had a lot of great advice for me when he was acting news director there. One day he came up to me, he said, "Mr. Burbank, less is more." I think that was the day that I was supposed to wipe on a bunch of clouds on the map, and they didn't all wipe on at once. I had to click them all on separately. So I used up my whole weathercast clicking on 79 clouds. But he also said, just tell a story. And those are things I've always remembered. So here's my story. It was Carol. It was Hurricane Carol that initiated my fear, my interest, and my obsession with the weather. And according to my parents, from the day that happened, I always watched the sky. And really, I get a little bit anxious when I don't have a window that I can look out. Can we open up one of these curtains so I can look out the window for a second here? Because I need to look out. We don't have a window in our weather office, by the way, and that's frightening. Anyway, as I got older, I got hooked on watching weathercasts. In 1959, I was 10 years old, in December. I love snow. I love snow so much. Still love it, even after 2015. But on one of the first snowstorm of the year, the weatherman I was watching up in Maine came on and he said, 1 foot of snow tonight. It's going to be a big one, folks. It was the middle of the week. So, hey, no school the next day, right? I was going to have no school. I got all excited about that. Woke up in the middle of the night. The moon was out bright. There was no snow. We never got a flake, not one flake. How could that weatherman do that to me? So I decided maybe I should learn how to become a forecaster. Maybe I can forecast the weather. In the 5th grade, beginning of the year, I went to my teacher and I said, I need to have a seat by the window. And she said, why is that? I said, I need to watch the sky and the clouds. I'm the weatherman. I did get my seat by the window. Of course, I had to pay attention and not daydream. Years went by and I started watching Don Kent at WBZ TV in Boston from my house in southern Maine and started watching his weathercast, and he was so enthusiastic and great. I kept watching and I said, wow, this is great. I got to be a forecaster. I got to learn how to be a forecaster. As Terry mentioned, I went and visited Don at the station, saw the studio there, couldn't believe how beautiful it was. Sculptured letters, curvilinear walls. The walls opened up to reveal the weather center. I went home and made my own weather set in my bedroom. Put my bed in the middle of the room, but the rest of the room was that. So anyway, that's it. So next person I want to thank is my brother who was here today. He was the one that drove me to see Don Kent then, so it's all his fault. I worked for him in his landscaping business, and during that course of time, he saw the general manager of a Portland, Maine station, and he said, you guys need a meteorologist on your station. You need to hire my brother. Well, guess what? 2 years later, I was the first professional meteorologist in the state of Maine. So my brother lost his best employee. I think I was your best, right? I was his best employee, but he knew that my passion was weather. So at the beginning of my career in Portland, I spent a lot of time at the National Weather Service. We had nothing at the station, so I did my work days I spent at the station and preparing my casts. But I got a lot of help from the National Weather Service. They really helped me along. And that good relationship with the National Weather Service continues to this day with the great folks at the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Norton. So I thank all of them. Clearly, though, I thank Don Kent for his many years of friendship and assistance. And he told me from the start, he said, weathercasting is high profile. It's a tough business in the public eye. So you know what I want you to be? I want you to be a nice guy. Be enthusiastic. Work hard. Be kind. So anyway, you know the rest of the story. I take great pride in working over 4 decades at only one television station, only one in Boston. And I thank all the management teams at WBZ for believing in me. Hashtag not done yet. Over the years, I have truly enjoyed working with each and every person on and off camera, especially my teammates, the Weather Center, besides Terry. My buddy Eric Fisher is here today. Another thing that has given me great pleasure is delivering educational and humorous weather presentations at schools. I've been to an estimated 1,600 schools, thousands and thousands and thousands of students that I've talked to. Nowadays, the kids say to me, my grandmother loves you. Or, my parents grew up watching you. So that makes my day. I have been truly blessed in so many ways through my life, and at the top of that list is my fabulous family over here at table 3, I guess it is? No, that's not my family. It's table 4. No, table 3. Headed by my wife for almost 40 years, Louisa. Over there, there's Louisa, who was an amazing nurse for 34 years, continues to survive my crazy DH shift, Terry, of working turnaround shifts, double shifts, weekend shifts, rotating shifts, morning shifts, midday shifts, and PM shifts, Also, here's my daughter, Rebecca, my son, Trevor, and his wife, Kristen, my son, Dana, and of course, my brother is right there with his wife, Paulette. So anyway, Jim, I guess that's a wrap. Thank you all for being here and celebrating this great recognition with all of us today. #MBHOF 2019. Thank you very much.